This house is dedicated to knowledge and to the spreading of knowledge. Elijah Muhammad inspired new thought, new mind, new way of civilization among black people. But he wanted a house from which a light could be lifted up to give guidance to all who would be guided as this world begins to close down. This National Center for the re-education and retraining of the black man and woman, but for the totality of the human family of our planet. I named this mosque after the only woman that the Quran names a chapter after, the mother of Jesus, Maryam. All human beings need to be re-educated. That is the purpose of the National Center.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call Digital Edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
Greetings to you. I'm Brother James Muhammad, your host for this week's segment of Closing the Gap. We want to thank all of those of you who have tuned in this evening. A special shout out to our regular viewers and listeners, and certainly the all-important new first-time participants. We thank you for your tuning in this evening. We, as always, have a very special, very relevant, very important show for you this evening, and we're blessed to host a wonderful brother, longtime helper of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, a scholar. He's an astute student minister, regional minister, in fact, and a brother whom I have been blessed to be acquainted with for going on now 19 years. But we always want to invoke the name of Allah before we begin. And so, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the One God, to whom all praise is due, the Lord of the worlds, we thank Almighty God Allah for his merciful and prophetic intervention in our affairs, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. We thank him for raising up from our midst his messenger, Messiah, and now we know him to be the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, through whom we have been given our beloved and blessed Redeemer, the Messiah of the Christ, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their names, beloved brothers and sisters, friends, and if there's some enemies, we want to greet you too with peace. We greet you in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to this week's segment of Closing the Gap. Dear family, we are blessed today to have as our special guest the student regional minister of the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan of the Southwest region, our dear brother, student regional minister, Abdul Haleem Muhammad. Now, as always, in the name of humility, they always caution me, Brother James, you don't have to read the whole bio. Let's just get into it, brother. And repeatedly, I respond, well, I appreciate your humility, but I want to be professional, and above all of what is in your bio is what you deserve to be declared as you present what Allah, through the minister, has made you as a helper, not only to him, but a helper to the people and a great servant in the resurrection work. And so, let me begin. Brother Minister Abdul Haleem Muhammad, PhD. So we say Brother Student Minister and Dr. Abdul Haleem Muhammad. Brother Abdul Haleem Muhammad, aka Robert S. Muhammad, was born in upstate New York, raised in New York City, and completed high school in southern New Jersey. He earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science in 1978 from Hampton Institute University in Hampton, Virginia. In 1980, he moved to Houston, Texas, to pursue a career in banking and finance. Brother Abdul Haleem became student minister of Muhammad Mosque number 45 in Houston, Texas in 1987. In 1994, he was appointed the Southwest Regional Representative of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam for Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, and New Mexico. His ministerial travels has taken him across the United States, the Caribbean, Africa, Turkey, and China. He participates in numerous ecumenical and interfaith gatherings and committees. Brother Abdul Haleem earned a master's in 2005 and a doctorate in 2016 in the field of urban planning and environmental policy at the Texas Southern University's Barbara Jordan Mickey Leland School of Public Affairs. His dissertation, A Planner's Pyramid, Equity-Based Model for Resilience in Community Redevelopment, posits sustainability and resilience is not achievable without the appropriate distribution of benefits and burdens within and across generations. And of course, a side note, this is one of the reasons why we selected this particular theme, building the wasted cities. We have a brother that is ever so proficient by the grace of Allah to help to do just that. Let me continue. Be patient with me, brother minister, as I go through this. Brother Abdul Haleem is a researcher and published author. His writings appear in newspapers, textbooks, and academic journals. He has appeared as an expert witness before the 2007 Congressional Field hearing of the Subcommittee of Housing and Community Opportunity regarding affordable housing needs in the city of Houston. Unique challenges and opportunities chaired by the Honorable Maxine Waters. He is the founder of NTE Planning Consultants, LLC, and as an urban planner consultant to the Metropolitan Transit Authority of Harris County in the area of stakeholder relations, government affairs, transportation, and land use. He developed Communities in Motion, a gentrification mitigation community-oriented transit development program. Now, how could I have left any of that out, brother minister? Let me continue. Brother Abdul Haleem's civic involvement includes, but is not limited to, being a past board member of the Gulf Coast Rail District Planning and Projects, Bylaws, and Public Safety Committees, Houston Southeast Management District Board Vice Chair and Chairman of Transportation and Mobility Committee, Transition Team for Mayor Sylvester Turner, Traffic and Transportation Committee, Coordination, Funding, and Development Policy, Public Works Subcommittees. City of Houston Complete Communities Advisory Committee, Mayor's Implementation Committee for Harris County, member Houston Coalition of Equitable Recovery after Hurricane Harvey, and the Collective Healing Initiative. Brother Abdul Haleem is an annual presenter at the Houston Police Academy. He is the founder and CEO of Accepting Challenges to Improve Our Nation Community Development Corporation. That is ACTION, that's the acronym, CDC. Brother Abdul Haleem has appeared on numerous national television programs, including TV's News One, Now with Roland Martin, BET News, ABC's Nightline, Fox News, O'Reilly Factor, as well as many local television programs. He is the land-standing host of Connect the Dots the land-standing host of Connect the Dots talk show on Pacifica's KPFT 90.1 FM every Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. And we're going to re-announce that again because we certainly want you to tune in. His voice can be heard on numerous hip-hop albums produced by local artists. He has received numerous civic awards and commendations. He is married and is the father of 4 sons. And he is our brother. He is my friend. And I am absolutely honored to now present to some of you and introduce to some of you our brother Student Regional Minister Abdul Haleem Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum salam.
Brother Minister, you went in and out with the sound.
We'll try it again.
Yes. Wa alaikum salam, sir. Very good. Good to have you.
Good to be here.
Well, all praise is due to Allah. Well, as you know, and I want to first of all give you the greetings on behalf of our co-host who is not here today. He's celebrating the birth anniversary, the 24th birth anniversary of his oldest daughter, Sister Imani, who I'm proud to say is my niece. In fact, all of his children are my nieces and nephews. In fact, everybody's believer's son or daughter in Tampa is Brother James's niece and or nephew. I've claimed them and they seem to agree with it by Allah's grace. But I want to greet you, brother, on behalf of our co-host, Brother Chad Muhammad, who will certainly be back next week, inshallah. We want to extend the greetings from our student regional minister of the 7th region, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Please return the greetings to Brother Patrick.
I certainly will, brother. All praise is due to Allah as soon as I can. Now, the subject matter. For those of you who are on Facebook and the social media platforms, if you saw, and you probably did, see the flyer, it's buttressed by a scripture from Isaiah, which reads, and I quote, "Those from among you will rebuild the ancient ruins. You will raise up the age-old foundations, and you will be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of the streets in which to dwell." That is Isaiah, I believe it is 52:12. I think that's appropriate for this evening's subject matter. You know, Brother Minister, as we witness what could only be adequately and justifiably called the unraveling of a great nation, it puts me in mind of the minister's words to us, and I'm sure you've heard him say, that a rising force pulls apart, tears down, and roots out a falling force. So there's a relationship there. The falling force is related to the rising force, and the falling force falls at the pace that the rising force is rising. So that implies that while this great nation is being unraveled, there is yet work for us to do. And that's what we want to talk about this evening, Brother Minister. Rebuilding the wasted cities. And now the floor is yours, sir.
In the name of Allah, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah. He came to us in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. And we forever thank him for coming and raising up in our midst, the first begotten of the dead, the living and exalted Christ, the one who's in power right now, making rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank them both for not leaving us alone, believing in our midst, our brother, our servant, and our friend, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, our deliverer, our redeemer, and our Messiah. I say that without hesitation, and I'm glad to be able to say it now since he says it of himself, and I'm not ahead of time. Inshallah, we are on time, Brother James. I want to first of all thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for allowing me to make my contribution to the resurrection of our people, the resurrection of the dead. And with all the education I'm supposedly have, there's no school that you or I or anybody can go to for Resurrection 101, but the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
And as Brother Student Minister Abdul Sharif said to me the other day, he's putting out some signs in Atlanta around the southern region that says, join the Nation of Islam and live. And that's what I want to say to your audience. Join the Nation of Islam and live. I want to thank the Executive Council, particularly our brother in the ministry, Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad, the National Assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and of course, Sister Dr. Ava Muhammad, for the wonderful job that they've been doing representing the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and really blazing a trail to let everybody know that the Nation of Islam is not a one-man show. And I want to thank the Executive Council for its guidance and for its stewardship of that which God came and established, gave to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and God backing Minister Farrakhan to rebuild the work. No great leader who has appeared among us, no matter how much we love them, no great group that's ever been destroyed by its own internal weaknesses or the schemes and machinations of our enemy has ever been rebuilt, but the Nation of Islam. And so we thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we pray Allah that through patience and through faith that's bolstered by love, we can close the gap and show the world that Minister Farrakhan not only has disciples, but even in his absence, he will have apostles, those sent forth. And as it says in John 14:12, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth in me, the works that I do, he shall do also. And greater works shall you do, for I go unto the Father. All we have to do is ask of the Father in his name, and the Father will do it for us. So I'm locked and loaded, beloved, and I'm happy to be a part of that. The scripture that you quoted out of Isaiah, the 58th chapter, the 12th verse. In 2006, I believe it was, Minister Farrakhan was the keynote speaker at the Essence Festival, the only Essence Festival ever held outside of New Orleans. This was after Hurricane Katrina. And we were at dinner. Student Minister Willie and others would bear witness, Brother Student Minister Lee from Fort Worth, Student Minister Willie from New Orleans. At that time, Student Minister Jeffrey from Dallas, and Sister Claudette Marie Muhammad, our protocol directors emeritus, inshallah. I think that's her title. She established the office, and I always give her props for doing a yeoman's work.
Yes,
and now our brother, a student director, Abdul Rauf, now is walking in those shoes. But the minister asked me a question. I had just finished my master's, and I told him I was studying for my PhD, and he asked me why did I want to do that, and I quoted that very scripture, brother.
All praises due to
Build
Allah.
wasted cities.
Yes, sir.
Brother, we must back up the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan when Holy Day of Atonement in Newark, he says separation or death.
That's right.
And student Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad has been going on a separation tour to have these town hall meetings, which eventually will lead to a plebiscite, a vote, and then our people have to determine whether they want to go or whether they want to stay.
That's right.
But that 58th chapter of Isaiah, the 12th verse, is found, according to the Wycliffe Bible Commentary, in what is called Volume 8, Brother Minister. And that Volume 8 is called, listen to this, the Volume of Comfort.
Teach, beloved.
And
Yes,
in
sir.
that particular verse that Allah blessed you to lift, Isaiah denounces the spurious, meaning the false or the fake faith of the Jews. This is not me talking. This is Mr. Wycliffe saying this.
Yes, sir.
Because they had religious observance, but they were not living a godly or law-abiding life. And if they would repent, then post-exile, after the exile, Isaiah is quoting God that a new commonwealth was to be built after they repented and started living the life that they professed. And that section is section 3 of Volume 8, Brother James. It's called
Yes,
the
sir.
Program of Peace.
Teach,
We
beloved.
call
Yes.
the teaching the program of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Muslim program.
Go ahead, brother.
But
Yes,
this
sir.
is called the Program of Peace, rebuilding the wasted cities.
Yes,
And
sir.
so I am so honored to be on this program. I'm so honored to take up this subject. And I pray Allah that in the time we spend together, that whatever Allah blesses me to say from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and whatever I've learned in these schools of learning, I hope it inspires the believers
Yes,
and
sir.
inspires our brothers and sisters in the greater nation of Islam
Yes, sir.
to now get ready, because we have work to do. And eventually we're going to get into a historical context, brother, because my mind is now moving.
Very good.
I think a little faster than 24 billion miles per second right now.
Go ahead, brother.
I'm so fired up, brother, based upon the subject that you chose. Because remember now, you had a second line to that. The resurrection of the dead.
That's right.
So that's the answer.
Yes, sir.
You already answered the question. Let's go home. Let's wrap up. Let's go home, brother.
I think we might be cheating our audience if we did that, although you're not wrong, but let's give them a little more, Brother Minister. I'm sure they're looking for a little more.
Yes, sir, beloved. Well, again, we know that the scriptures tell us
yes, sir,
that the stone that the builders of this world have rejected have now become the cornerstone of the kingdom. That the first shall be last, the last shall be first. The bottom rung will be raised to the top. So is the despised and rejected. God would choose the despised and rejected. God would choose a foolish people.
Come on, brother.
And he would give wisdom to babes, that he would say, he thanked the Father in heaven for keeping this from the wise and prudent of men and revealing it unto babes.
Yes, sir.
So you know how we talk. Yo, I'm going to the crib.
Yeah,
because we're babes.
That's the language.
The language of the 60s and 70s, Brother James, when we talked about the power being wielded by our slave master's children, we call him, he's the man. We're going to take it to the man. Well,
that's right. That's right.
We see him as the man. He called us boy.
That's
our
right.
women gal. We go into the crib. God has revealed great wisdom to us, and inshallah, we want to give it to you, brothers and sisters, the best we can today. So, message to the black man. Got to start there before we get accused of saying, well, y'all not teaching the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Go ahead, brother. Let me get that.
You got to start with message to the black man in America. Let's see. Now, there's a chapter you ask, who will rebuild the wasted cities?
That's right.
So let's go to page 225, a message to the black man in America.
Yes, sir.
He asks and answers the question, do we have the qualified men and women for self-government? And he answered the question. The answer to the above question is yes. We do not have to be equal in knowledge with every nation to be successful in operating our own government.
That's right.
Were those whites who first came to this country seeking self-government equal with England's parliamentary lords? There are probably many independent people who do not have among them many who have the know-how of the American educated class of so-called Negroes. We have enough technicians, such as mathematicians, construction engineers, civil engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, physicists, chemists, educators, agriculturalists, navigators, and aeronauts among the 22 million or more of us. You will find scholars or scientists whom we can use in every branch of government. Then there are our own independent people outside of this country who would be glad to help us get going in a country or state of ourselves, for ourselves. We do not expect to build, nor do we desire to build a government patterned after the order of the white race. Naturally, we would need help for the next 20 to 25 years. After that, we would be self-supporting. The spirit of doing for self is now fast coming into our people. They only need a new education of self and others. He goes on to say the world's greatest people. Unity under the crescent of Islam is all that is necessary for you and me to become the world's greatest people. The lying slavery teachings of white man's Christianity that has crucified our people all over the earth must be given up. We must accept the true religion, Islam, of Jesus and the prophets before and after him, before we can be successful in doing anything. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Absolutely. Very beautiful.
We already know.
Yes, sir.
We have the qualified men and women for self-government. And then we have people all around the world who have knowledge. And remember what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad told Minister Farrakhan. He said that one day when we will have people come to help us become a nation that will teach us everything, including the peaceful and non-peaceful use of the atom.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So we have what we need. Once in the 90s, I believe it was, Brother James, there was a brother named Brother William Muhammad. He was in El Paso, Texas. He was a student, graduate student in Texas El Paso University. And he wrote a book called The Harvest is Ripe. And it was a guide to study group development. I gave a copy to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he took the book in his hand. He said, brother, we have everything we need in the nation. Everything. Now, I want you to think, as you can go through all of Minister Farrakhan, you would exhaust yourself. You'd have to live 2 lifetimes to go through all of Minister Farrakhan's speeches twice.
That's right, brother. Yes, sir.
Think about he's spoken on just about every HBCU. I think every HBCU. He's spoken before every black professional group you can think of, right? So here is a man who has touched so many people. I have visited pastors' offices, Brother James,
yes,
and seen more Minister Farrakhan's tapes in their office than I've seen in some Muslims' houses.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's spoken at theological seminaries. He's spoken before gathering of clergy. Minister Farrakhan has traveled the world and spoken to leaders all over the world, young military students, young military officers, policemen, government officials, college students overseas, and they have come over to America and been educated or heard Minister Farrakhan. I mean, look, God has gone in front of him and made friends for him all over the earth, and thereby made friends for us.
That's right.
When we reflect his heart and his spirit and his mind, we can't be black, white people.
Come on, brother minister.
Let this mind be in you as it is in Christ Jesus.
Yes, sir.
We got to have a new mind. We got to take off the old man and put on the new. And that mind is a new mind. As Mr. Farrakhan coined the phrase, he who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your actions.
That's right.
For circumference is determined by diameter multiplied times 3.1 or pi. That's what gives you circumference. So if we got this little narrow thinking mind where we're only thinking for Muslims, then we're going to have a circumference that is teeny weeny. But if we do what Minister Farrakhan was told by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he said the same thing to me, Brother James. He said, brother, I don't want you thinking for the Muslims alone. I want you to think for the whole and speak for the whole. So wherever we are, brother, wherever we are, I think for the whole and I speak for the whole.
Yes, sir.
In the name of Allah, his Christ and the Messiah, brother. I can't, my face is too well known to be in denial, so I can't do Peter.
Go ahead, brother. Yes, sir.
I'm not holding the purse, and I'm not tripping over the love that the MGT and the women have for Mr. Farrakhan because he looked better than Muhammad Ali. You know, he's fly. He sing as good as Marvin Gaye. I know he would probably hit my hand for that, but he's a multi-talented genius, man.
Yes, sir. No question.
He's the greatest orator. He's the greatest orator in our midst today. Great leader, fearless, out of his love and passion for our people and for fallen humanity.
Yes, sir.
Not a narrow typecast our ministers a hater, a bigot, an anti-Semite. We have sat at his table, Brother James, and seen him treat every human being, regardless of creed, class, color, whether they believed in God or not, treated them with the utmost respect and civility.
That's right.
And the greatest quality of the minister that I know is he's a great listener. He listens. Because every time you open your mouth, you're putting your mind on display.
That's right.
So he's listening what's coming out your mouth.
Yes,
but
sir.
Look, brother, who will rebuild the wasted cities are the people who are watching this broadcast right now. You got to, if you're in the mosque, you got to know that the mosque is our spiritual base where a worldwide movement will be launched from. It is that stone that was carved out without hands, and it began to roll throughout the earth, and it struck the image at its feet. The iron mixed with miry clay, the weakest part. The poor heard him gladly. They said of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's followers, and they say of us that we're the, like Noah's followers, brother. We're the roughest of the people. We're
the meanest of the people, they say. That's out of Quran.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So they talk about, well, them the people out of prison, them the urban people, them the despised and rejected by this world. I don't care how many PhDs I got.
Come on, brother.
I'm never going to be treated like somebody who got a PhD in my field because I'm walking with a man that the whole world hates. Not the whole world, but the world of Satan hates.
Come on. Yes, sir.
See, brother, it's not that. Let me tell you something, brother. It's not anti-Semitism that makes those certain members of the Jewish community hate Minister Farrakhan. It's really not anti-Semitism. It's really not that. It is the fact that he declared that we are the true children of Israel. That is the theological parting of ways between these two people.
Yes, sir.
We are the chosen people of God. Because if we're the chosen people of God, then who are they?
Come on, brother. Masquerades. Teach,
that's the whole thing. So that is the core. That's the crux of it.
Mm-hmm.
They can call it anything they want to. They pick the fight. You know, Brother James, growing up, you know, in New York, the school is called public school. P.S. I grew up in Upper Manhattan in Washington Heights on 159th Street and Edgecombe Avenue. The closest public school to me was PS 28 on 155th Street between St. Nicholas and Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
PS 28. And in every school park in New York, that's what we call the school park or the schoolyard, school park, right?
Yes, sir.
And you would have bullies in the school park. And you punch him in his mouth and he run home and get his big brother.
Yes,
or
sir.
go get his crew from 156th Street, 157th Street, 158th Street. You punch him in his mouth. Pow!
Come on, brother.
You was all tough and all that talking. I know it. You got popped in the mouth. It's like Mike Tyson said. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
They get punched.
You know. So you go home and you get all your crew to come. Then now you want to whoop me. You want to fight us. See, and that's what happened with them. They went to picking on Jesse Jackson. Minister Farrakhan defended them. They attacked Minister Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan clapped back.
That's right.
So they couldn't handle him. They threw everything they could at him. Got black leaders to repudiate him. They did everything they could. That didn't work. So now, let's get the LGBTQ community. He's homophobic. Come on, y'all, come on. He's misogynist. He called the Million Man March, even though more women spoke at the Million Man March than the March on Washington.
Go ahead. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Nobody teaches, no church, no synagogue, Reformed or Orthodox teaches that a nation can rise no higher than this woman, but the Nation of Islam.
That's right.
That is a core of our message. A nation can rise no higher than the woman must be honored, respected, and protected.
That's right.
Listen to the divine value of women. Mr. Farrakhan said, if you're not willing to kill for your woman, then what kind of man are you? This is the way we teach. That's real honor killing, is when you kill for what will produce your future.
Come on, brother.
We teach that. Nothing will get you hurt quicker than to mess with our sisters.
That's right.
And they'll break you up.
That's right.
God, if you want to, they'll break you up. And then we'll get the scraps that's left over. These women today, our sisters ain't no wallflowers. They're warriors too.
That's right. Absolutely.
So look, I don't know, brother. I'm feeling this right now.
Well, this is what we want you to do. Express what you feel. I knew you were going to be full when I invited you on the show. And in anticipation of that fullness being shared with our listening and viewing audience is what we hope for. And we anticipate, and we're joyful now to not only hear what you're saying, but the spirit with which you say it. It expresses great love, great commitment to this great work of the resurrection.
I pray that everyone will go back and listen to Minister Farrakhan's speech to that African American or Black Leadership Summit.
That's right.
Man, see, and this is important for us as Muslim followers of Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his leadership, not to be self-righteous, sanctimonious, and holy.
Teach, beloved. Teach, sir.
We have to walk the earth in humility. It's humility that where God will speak to us if we're humble. We got to be humble. brothers and sisters. Please don't act like we got it. We got how to eat to live. Y'all should listen to us. That's why they all getting the COVID-19. Don't even think like that.
Come on, brother.
Please.
Make it. Yes, sir. Yes.
So look, Minister Farrakhan talked about how it's really us, our, and we. That the little nation of Islam cannot do it alone. We could be a catalyst, but we can't do it by ourselves. Who will rebuild the wasted city, Brother James? It's not just us, but we can be the core of it. And let me tell you what's about to happen.
Come on.
Minister Farrakhan, Savior's Day, already gave us the playbook, the unraveling of a great nation.
Yes, sir.
If you, brothers and sisters, don't see the unraveling of this great nation,
that's right.
If you don't see what's going on right now, the root of it, or the seeds of this unraveling, was set in the beginning of this nation in the first place. As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, it was a death sentence when they took our fathers into slavery. It was a death sentence in what they did to the red man. All them treaties they made with the red man, they ain't honored one of them. Think about that. The root, think about Mr. Farrakhan, born in Marsenia Hospital in Bronx, New York, right? May 11, 1933. His mother moved him to Boston, right? And in Boston, brothers and sisters, Massachusetts was the epicenter of the rebellion against King George III. I'm going to talk about Farrakhan. I'm talking about Farrakhan. I want y'all to understand it's in the water up there. Mr. Farrakhan was drinking the water up there. It's in his spirit to be free. Why Minister Farrakhan loved the NAACP? Why does he love the NAACP? Because Dr. W.B. Du Bois, writing in Crisis Magazine, was talking about all the lynching and all the evil things that was being done to our people. And that's how the minister was nurtured on that. So that's the talented 10th side. But he went to his uncle's house, who was a Garveyite. And he seen a black man on the wall because he seen the Queen and King George up on his mama and all them wall, white people, but he seen in his uncle's wall, he seen this black man. And he got a chair's a little tight and put it up to the chair and looked at it and studied the man's features and said, who is that man? He said, that's the man that came to lead black people, save black people. He said, well, where is this man? I may go and follow him. He said, he's dead now. And the minister broke down and cried. Marcus Garvey. So in the minister is what you would see or consider to be the duality in nature in and of itself. You got W.B. Du Bois in his early stage or earlier stage of his life being an integrationist, an accommodationist, right? Assimilationist. And you have Marcus Mosiah Garvey, which his father was that, and his mother was in the fringe of it, as he said. So now you got Garvey on the other side of up you mighty nation, up you mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. So now he has both yin and yang. He has both of these things in him. The Messiah is the one that brings together all those streams of thought. So who really in the 21st century or the latter part of the 20th century replicated and surpassed what the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey did in the early part of the 20th century? The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And who rebuilt his work? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But who is a man that tried to unite all the tribes Farrakhan. If that's not the work of the Messiah, isn't the work of the Messiah that the East and West Coast rapper ate hip-hop beefs? Who settled that? They went to the palace and had a meeting, and that's where the beefs were squashed. You're not hearing me. Who's able to go and make peace with the Bloods and the Crips? Who is at the epicenter of that peace treaty between the Bloods and the Crips? Who can go and speak? An 87-year-old man that the hip-hop people, the hip-hop rappers and all go to seek guidance from. Busta Rhymes, we ain't heard from him in almost two decades. He comes out with his album, Master Fard Muhammad, and the Wrath of God is on that album, and his album is streaming like #1. The young boys are saying, "What the?" And when he did the song Master Fard Muhammad, and some of us self-righteous people was tripping. I got the clean version and the explicit version, brother. I downloaded both of them. I played the clean version on my radio show because I couldn't say what you can't say that during the daylight hours. But listen up, brother James. There was Brother Willie Muhammad out of New Orleans shared with me a Google like analytics. It showed there was almost 1 million hits looking for Master Fard Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
So if you put brother and sister, get you a Google, if you have a Gmail account and you set up your news Google alert, put in it so that you can put in Louis Farrakhan on the Nation of Islam. You will see these right-wing, left-wing, no-wing people constantly dogging us out.
Come on, brother.
They hate us. If they hate him, they hate me.
That's right.
They hate us.
That's right, brother.
With a passion, man, a burning passion. And they are at wit's end why our people will not wholesale repudiate Minister Farrakhan. But we're entering into the garden, brothers and sisters. I'm warning you right now. We're in that place. Remember Palm Sunday. What happened between Palm Sunday and Good Friday? From the Hosanna in the highest. The Son of David has come. Oh, the kingdom of God is about to be established. What happened between that and crucify him? How could they be laying down palm leaves as a sign, heralding the great one coming among them, and then no witnesses show up at his trial? And when they said, "Who do you want?" And you got to get out of the King James Version, brothers and sisters, and get you some other translations of the Bible.
Yes, sir.
In the time Pontius Pilate wanted to release a prisoner at the Passover, and he asked, "Who do you want? Jesus Barabbas or Jesus the Messiah?"
Yeah.
You said Jesus Barabbas, you lying. That ain't in my Bible. You better get you one of these other other translations. They dropped, his name was Jesus. Barabbas' name was Jesus. How did people get confused? How did they choose a revolutionary over the good man? And so, brothers and sisters, you're being set up for that same thing today, because that didn't happen 2,000 years ago.
Come on.
You're watching this thing getting ready to play out right now. Here we are, brothers and sisters. Our people are dying disproportionately from this COVID-19 pestilence from heaven. Yeah. They're martyrs. White, black, brown, red, yellow, young, old. Anyone that's dying from this plague is a martyr. And our people are so frustrated with the present administration, they'd have done anything to vote him out. And have. But what I'm about to tell you, sisters and brothers, is this. In obedience, I won't discuss the election, but I'll put it like this. You're about to be greatly disappointed.
Come on, brother.
You have to look at the posts that are the national security posts and see who mans those posts, mans and womans those posts. They don't look like us. Maybe the brother will become the defense secretary. I don't know. But regardless, we have civilian control of the military. So whatever policy is made by the civilian leaders has to be carried out by the military leaders. Again, look at who's around the present administration.
Yeah.
You're about to be sorely disappointed. And it is in that disappointment, particularly around this vaccine. I won't get ahead of our leadership, but Brother James, we're going to have to defend ourselves.
Yes, sir.
And defend the revelation that comes from God.
That's right.
With the scientific documentation that's in our midst and at our hands.
Yes, sir.
The minister gives us revelation. Myself, the Dr. Wesleys, the Demetrics, the others, Sister Minister Ava, and the others that are in the nation, the research team, even Robert Kennedy Jr., Brother Abdul Malik Saeed.
Yes, sir.
We're going to give you the documentation that backs up the revelation.
That's right.
In just a few days. But right now, Minister Farrakhan said, do not take their vaccine. First and foremost, they got an emergency approval for it. That means that they don't know, they're still gathering data on its efficacy. They don't know the long-term effects. So for a short-term solution, you and I may be doing long-term harm. It is the policy of the United States of depopulation. Brothers and sisters, be very careful. Follow the divine guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But in that, Brother James, in that context, is how they're going to come after us. Because they're going to try to make us anti-vax. We're not anti-vaccination. We're anti-their vaccines.
That's right.
Because they got a wicked history. If you read the book called Medical Apartheid, from colonial times till now, these people have been experimenting on us and doing things to us, experimenting on our prisoners, experimenting on our sisters, operating on our sisters without anesthesia, so that white women, the doctor that's heralded, the OBGYN man, they got a statue dedicated to this man. All of that was done advanced on the pain of our sisters.
Come on,
medical apartheid.
That's right.
The vaccines contaminated. I can go on and on. The point is, brothers and sisters, that you all are going to be angry with the Nation of Islam. The media is lining up. They're beating this drum. They're beating the drum beat the same way they beat the drum beat to go to war in Iraq. And if you question 9/11, and if you questioned whether Saddam Hussein in Iraq was in cahoots with Al Qaeda, if you question that, you were called unpatriotic. And so today, in us questioning this vaccine, we're going to be called anti-vaxxers. We're going to be called conspiracy theorists. No, we're truth tellers, and we can back it up. But the media is going to come after us. The government's going to come after us. And unfortunately, they're getting our people to go out front and take shots and do all this. And so you're going to have to choose, brothers and sisters, whether you're going to follow the man of God or you're going to follow some people that haven't done you any good since your feet hit the shore 665 years ago. So now, when all that's said and done, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm quoted, I tell all my nationalist brothers, Malcolm paraphrased a letter from the ministry class in the 1930s, and again, it was resurrected again in the 1960s. This is a paraphrase of a longer letter. Of all of our studies, history is best qualified and most attractive to reward our research. That's Malcolm quoting the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's letter. But it goes on to talk about the springs and motives of human behavior. So what was the thing that triggered or were the seeds or the seminal fluid of the American Revolution, brothers and sisters? It was the French-Indian War, the 7-Year War, where England established its hegemony as the European power in defeating the French and their Indian allies in the North American continent, and in a sense beating back in the decline of the Portuguese, the Spanish, and the Dutch empires. But after that 7-Year War, they passed taxes. They had taxes, brothers and sisters. They had this Sugar Act, the Stamp Act, the Townsend Act, the Quarterly Act. All of these acts, which were called the Intolerable Acts, were passed. Now, the colonists didn't mind paying taxes.
Come on, Brother Minister.
For the French-Indian War, because they were loyal British citizens. But what they were angry about was that these taxes were passed without their consent. They had no say-so in the parliament. They were just colonists. And all colonies are not the same. There are 3 types of colonies. I won't go that far down in the weeds on Brother James, but you know, there was a royal charter, there was a proprietary charter, and there was a charter that was issued by the king. So look, this is what started them in rebellion. And do you know that the first colony that was declared to be in rebellion to the crown and to the parliament was Massachusetts and Boston? Is it any wonder that our man was raised in Boston? It's in his DNA.
Teach me, love.
Fight for liberty and freedom. It's in him.
Teach me.
And Malcolm too. Malcolm had a brush in Boston. It's something about that area of the world, that area of the country and its history.
Teach me. That
tells us that Minister Farrakhan is the beginning of a new world. He's a new man. He is a new man. 87 years old, had exculpatory surgery, man, 15 hours, man. They took out his inside. He took a minute, but he keeps on ticking. What manner of man is this?
Come on, brother.
See how he looked last Saturday? Man, he looked so good, man. Brother James, you and me had to go out and get a haircut today so we could match up to this beautiful man that we represent.
That's right, brother. Absolutely.
I know, brother and sister. I'm trying to keep it a little light. But the truth of the matter is,
difficult message, beloved. You know,
after this, they came together, the colonists came together and formed a Continental Congress. These Continental Congresses, this is why you say you had presidents before George Washington. Now, I dispute those who say that they were black presidents. No, they were white men. But they weren't really presidents in the way of the United States presidents. They just presided. They were the presiders over the Continental Congress from 1774 to 1788.
Yes.
And during that time, after the war started in the early 1770s, okay? Don't y'all get bored on me now. Come on. It's just what I do.
Teach me, love.
What I do. History is best qualified, most attractive.
That's right.
I'm talking about a nation in its formation.
Teach me, love.
They're fighting now the British Crown, the most powerful army on the planet. These 13 colonies have taken up arms against the greatest empire on the earth. They form a Continental Congress. They had been fighting them for about almost 3 years before they did the Declaration of Independence in 1776. They eventually they came up with the Articles of Confederation in 1778. They were flawed because all of these 13 colonies each had their own money, their own banking system, their own taxes. They were all messed up. So once they got their freedom from England in the Treaty of Paris, in 1787, they held a constitutional convention. And 74 white male property owners were invited. 55 attended. 39 signed the document, actually 38, and one signed as a surrogate, but there's 39 signatures, actually 40 signatures. The secretary signed it, but there's 39 signatories to that Constitution. 3 men stayed, but they refused to sign it because most of them thought they were coming to just fix the Articles of Confederation, and they wound up with this brand new form of government.
Come on, brother.
One of the 3 men was George Mason. You've heard of George Mason University, haven't you? The ironic thing about it, George Mason was the largest slave owner. He was from Virginia, and there was a great influence on Thomas Jefferson. But this George Mason, brother, told them, warned them, the only way that this Constitution was filled, it almost fell apart on 2 occasions. One was over the New Jersey plan and the Virginia plan. The Virginia plan was based upon you having representation based upon just representatives having to vote. The Jersey plan was based upon, if I remember correctly, was based upon population. And the southern states didn't want to be outvoted because they had free white property owning men. They had less than the North and the Eastern Seaboard did. So they were in contention. They were about to break, this thing was about to break apart. But you know what they did? They came up with what was called, Roger Sherman came up with what was called the Connecticut Plan, which the 3/5 of all of the persons comes out of that. That was the compromise, to count the slaves.
That's right.
So that they would have representation in that lower house, that bicameral legislature, the bicameral legislature, which is the House of Representatives, and then they had the upper house, which is called the Senate. Now, the second compromise, almost at the end, that finally got them, like in August, they signed the Constitution in September 17th. September 17th, Brother James, 1787.
Yes, sir.
They signed this Constitution, but before that, it almost broke apart again. Yes. Because the South wanted to continue importing slaves. The Northerners wanted, not all the Northerners, but many of the Northerners didn't want it. So they said, well, if you're going to import these slaves, then, you know, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We want to tax all imports to come in. So the Northern merchants, who were the ones that really benefited from slavery, the banks were in the North. The rum runners were in the North. All of the merchants were in Rhode Island and in New York and in New England. That's what was part of the slave triangle, was run out of the Northeast, not the South. So look, the cotton was shipped from there. Y'all, okay, anyway.
We're listening, brother. Go ahead and teach, man.
So,
this is what
they said, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll make a compromise. You can still import slaves for another 20 years.
Teach, man.
If you agree that we won't get taxed on our exports and our imports. And that was the final compromise, and they signed that. So at every turn, brothers and sisters, you and I got sold out. We got sold out in the compromise of 1850. We got sold out with the Fugitive Slave Acts. We got sold out with the Kansas-Nebraska Act. We got sold out in the compromise of 1877 where Rutherford B. Hayes withdrew the troops from the South on the birth anniversary of Master Fard Muhammad, February 26, 1877, for him to become the 19th president of the United States. He sold us out. And that's how Jim Crow began, when they withdrew the troops from the South.
Come on, brother.
We have been sold out again and again and again. And I'm about to tell you right now, you're going to be sorely disappointed. And it is in that disappointment. The thin line between love and hate in the old R&B song was what? Betrayal. Our sense of betrayal and hopelessness and helplessness will make us understand why we now must rebuild the wasted cities. Not only the wasted cities, brother. See, Brother James, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in Rebuilding the Nation of Islam gave us the Muhammad Economic Blueprint.
That's right.
And in the Muhammad Economic Blueprint in Savior's Day 2013, he gave us the formula, 5 cents a day, 7 days a week, 35 cents a week, times 52 weeks, $18.20 a year, times 16 million wage earners, we would have a national treasury of $291,200,000. If we'd have followed Minister Farrakhan.
Come on, make it plain, brother.
Mine is full. I got to turn it into secretary. I can't hold it up for so long, bro. This thing is full.
Yes, sir.
Just your $18.20, 16 million wage earners, brothers and sisters. If we'd have done that for 7 years, we'd have treasury right now of $2,038,000,000.
Come on, brother.
Now, in the accomplishments of the Muslims, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad already gave us
Oh, yes, sir.
the blueprint. This is already here. He's given us food, clothing, shelter. Food, clothing, shelter, technology, health. Think about that. This book was put out in the 70s, man. And in it, under technology, he's got communications, he got banking, he got computers, he got construction, he got trucking, aviation, newspaper. He's got the logistical supply line for food, the logistical supply line for clothing and shelter. He's got an educational system. Under health, he's got a hospital. And under education, he's got an educational center for the Muhammad University of Islam system.
Right.
We already have the structure. The organization chart is right here. We don't have to make nothing up.
Come on.
It's already done.
Teach, brother.
The Muslim program is our constitution. That's the basis of our provisional constitution. White folks came up with Articles of Confederation. White folks came up with their constitutional convention. This is a provisional constitution to carry us through. We already have our constitution. They got a flag.
Yes, sir.
They got a flag, right? And we got a flag.
That's right. That's right. All praise is due to Allah.
What else do you need? You need land. We need some of this earth we can call our own. Now, as we have this conversation and this discussion, the seeds of America's fall was sown when they took us into slavery, when they destroyed the native, the indigenous people of this area. But it was sown because they didn't trust each other, and they built a government that right now is in gridlock.
Come on.
You have a pestilence. You have an economic downturn. You have a racial reckoning taking place right now. And you have political gridlock because they didn't trust each other. They put in what they call checks and balances, but now the checks ain't balancing.
Hey, come on, brother. Yes, sir.
And there's gridlock. They can't agree on anything. And that makes America vulnerable to our external enemies. But it really is the internal rot that's destroying America right now. So, brother and sister, rebuild the wasted cities. To the Muslims, you don't have to get deep. You don't have to go to the problem book. Go to the student enrollment and the actual facts.
Teach, man.
In your student enrollment and actual facts, there's a brother named Rashid El Muhammad, even known as Anthony Muhammad, wrote Decoding the Nation of Islam. He took our lessons and he found literally dozens of sciences that are found in our lessons. Dozens of them. You can go to the student enrollment, brothers and sisters. You're going to find demography, sociology, anthropology, logarithmics. You're going to find geography, geomorphogeny, hydrology, hydrography, land use, agronomics, agrology, mineralogy, chronology, theology. You're going to find all that in the student enrollment. In fact, the student enrollment really is an urban planning plan, brother, because you got to know the people. Minister Farrakhan said in the self-improvement speech, here's his words. Before we even start talking about building buildings and all that kind of stuff, he said this: however, to those of you who spend hundreds of millions and billions of dollars building structures, unless we build people,
that's right.
Unless the human potential of people is developed, then man in his undeveloped state will ultimately destroy the cities that he has built because of revolution and war. So we have to build people.
That's right.
In our placemaking, it has to be people-centric and not place-centric. We have to put our emphasis on people and not place. So, brothers and sisters, who will rebuild the wasted cities? The wasted people will.
Teach, man.
Rebuild the people, and they rebuild the cities. But we're not going to rebuild these cities. Eventually, we're going to have to come to grips with the fact that every major city in this country is being gentrified. The same forces that segregated us, the individuals, the institutions that segregated us, the insurance companies, the mortgage companies, the banks, the urban policies, the zoning laws, the restrictive covenants, the same forces that segregated us are the same forces and kept us out of the suburbs initially, are the same forces that are now gentrifying the cities. Same forces. So eventually they're going to push most of us out of the city. I don't know if that's a bad thing, brother. Because the truth of the matter is, since we do believe in the mother plane and the wheels, and so does Trump, why do you think he created a space force?
Come on, brother.
In the Air Force, you got airmen and airwomen. In the Navy, you got sailors and the Marines. And in the Army, you got soldiers. But his space force is called the Guardians. Dun, dun, dun. The Guardians.
Teach, beloved.
Why did he come up with a space force? What is that? What does he know? Yeah, we should be gentrifying ourselves, but the problem is, brother, is that we're house flippers. We're more interested in money than building a community. We need money to build a community, but we're the ones who gentrify the community, not black gentrification, but what we did was we started flipping houses. And in doing so, during the housing bubble, we did more to hurt our own community than the enemy. So trust and believe.
Teach, man.
We may be pushed out because poverty is increasing in the inner and outer suburbs now because the poor are being pushed out. They're being priced out and pushed out. That being said, there's a form that we've got to look at because the minister said that we have to what? We have to buy farmland because we have to feed ourselves, right?
That's right.
Isn't this pandemic killing our people in part because of our diet? Diabetes and cardiovascular disease doesn't run in your family. Your diet does.
Teach.
Your death style does. Them cigarettes, tobacco, alcohol, drugs, legal and prescribed drugs is what's killing us. And it's not just our own personal behavior, brothers and sisters. It is public policy. It is concrete crushing plants near your neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It is the lead water in Flint, Michigan. It is the food deserts. It is the war that they declared on us by zip code. These things cannot be denied. It's public policy. And if in the suburbs or in the high-priced neighborhoods, you have Whole Foods, then what the hell have we been eating? But James, if they got Whole Food, what are we eating? Half food? Quarter food? What are we eating?
Teach, brother.
You think they send the best food to our neighborhoods? No.
No, sir. As the minister said, so it's by zip code.
We have to control the logistical supply chain from the field to the meal. From what comes from the field to our tables, we have to control every point in that horizontal logistical supply chain. We have to control it.
Yes, sir. And
we have to get our hands on the clothing and the shelter. That's right. As the messenger taught us about getting land that reduce clay for bricks and having land so that we can have timber. Yeah. We've got to control every aspect of what goes in our mouth and on our backs and over our heads.
That's right.
So when you look at your 10 systems of your body controlled by your brain, you got to look at the 9 ministries controlled by our spiritual and moral development. But when we say ministry, sometimes we want to preach about agriculture. We want to preach about defense. No, these are functions.
Go ahead, brother.
We got to have a ministry of information. We have to have a ministry of science and technology. Yes. We have to have a ministry of defense, a ministry of justice, a ministry of arts and culture, a ministry of education, a ministry of agriculture. We have to have all of these ministries. The minister already laid these things out. We got a constitution. We have ministries or functions. Just function like that. A ministry of trade and commerce. So we have everything we need to rebuild the wasted cities. But in particular, brother, if I was to assemble to rebuild Detroit or Highland Park, I would assemble a team. If by some chance we have 16 acres of land there in the Muhammad Farm in Georgia, all of it is not arable. All of it is not cannot be farmed. It just isn't suited for that. So say there's 100 acres, 200 acres of that. Can we build a little community there so that we could do missionary work and we could have retirement homes for our elders? Or we can have our children, our teenagers, so that they can get out of the cities and come down there and help with the planting and the harvesting and the packaging and manufacturing and processing of it and learn these things. So we would have to put together a master plan, Brother James. That will be done by an urban designer or urban planner. We'd have to build infrastructure. So we would need, of course, our civil engineer. We'd have to have a land planner so that we'll know where we're going to put the mosque, the school, the clinic, the hospital or clinic.
Yes, sir.
What portions are going to be industrial? What portions are going to be residential? What kind of residential? How we have to know how that land's going to be and the policy to decide that. We're going to need a market expert that can talk about demographics. What kind of mix do we need? There's some of us who got money, and so the Muslims got some money, man. Don't let me fool you. Some cash, bro. You know, they waiting for something to put it in.
Yes, sir.
Right? So we're going to have to, have a market study, of the potential of what it is that we're building there and who would invest in it. We have to have a code writer because we need to write what are going to be our land use codes. What is compatible? What type of land uses are compatible next to each other? You don't want a dump site next to your school. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
right?
Sir. Absolutely.
We got to have a transportation planner because Brother Ridgely was running for county commissioner out there so he could build some roads to our farm, man. They're like muddy roads, man. We got to have transport. We got to be able to transport our goods.
Come on, brother.
To and fro our farm and our community. So we got to have a transportation planner or a traffic engineer. Yes. We got to have an economist, a business planner that can deal with supply chain logistics and help us to move our products and services in and out.
Yes.
We got to have an architect, an architect that'll tell us the building types and draw that plan out for us, a site plan out for us. We got to have a renderer or someone that does AutoCAD so that you can have pretty pictures. I could show you pretty pictures of the community we would build. You say, man, bro, mister, that sure is nice. Woo, look at that. Well, And that give people a vision and a dream of what it is, the community that we're building. We need a landscape architect because all is not going to be all concrete, asphalt, and buildings. We got to have green space. We got to have open space. We got to have a place where we can commune with nature. That's why the minister loves the farm in Michigan so much, because he studies everything from the little creatures to his horses and whatnot that's on that farm, brother. We got to get back to nature. Okay. So we got to have, again, a security planner and a safety planner, two different functions. Security would be, of course, our defense. Safety would be emergency management. They kind of work together, but they're kind of two separate functions, kind of in one, public safety, if you will. Yeah, we got to protect ourselves. We've got to make sure that our community is safe and secure from enemies. So these are the things, Brother James, that if you ask me, Brother Minister, here's X amount of $1 million, put together a team. This would be the beginning of my team.
Yes, sir.
Rebuild the wasted cities. And you know what, brother? By the responses that are coming on here, there's people that know people in the nation and outside the nation that could do everything I just said.
Absolutely. No doubt. No doubt. Now, Brother Minister, I was very hesitant to interrupt you, of course, with all of the information that you were sharing, necessary information, because it's not about emotionalism. We're very happy over the fact that this knowledge is available, but now we have to have the practical application of what Allah is revealing through the minister and, of course, through yourself. We want to bring in, if you don't mind, we'd like to bring in some of the listening and viewing audience, their comments and their questions. I want to mention that we're blessed by the presence and with the presence of our dear sister, Starla Muhammad, who is a Final Call representative. And I know you know her very well. And I'm very happy to have met her acquaintance and getting to know her. But she poses the question, Brother Haleem, all over the country, there are towns for sale, some of which already have some infrastructure. And recently, dozens of Black families in Georgia pooled their resources to purchase several acres with the goal of building a black city or town. And several believers have also pooled resources and purchased farmland. As a PhD in urban planning, what are your thoughts and suggestions on the best strategies in purchasing land, property, and fixing it up?
Well, the minister, is not excluding us doing things inside the city. But given this COVID-19 has really heightened my thoughts about us feeding ourselves. Yes. So even as an urban planner, there is a human settlement that we could develop. It's called agrarian urbanism.
Come on.
Now, the function of that particular human settlement revolves around agriculture and every aspect of it in the logistical supply chain, Sister Starla. So you've got to have something that is going to produce income. First and foremost, we're taught to feed ourselves and sell the surplus.
That's right.
So the whole function of this unit should be to produce something that they could trade amongst themselves and trade with others so that they can sustain themselves. We can't just move there and then it's like if I gave a poor person a house, but I didn't give them the wherewithal to maintain it. You come back, it falls down because it had to be maintained. So we can buy the land, but we got to pay the taxes. We can buy the property, but we've got to either fix it up and maintain it. Once we fix it up, it's going to have a certain value to it. Now, again, I talk about the same people that devalue, that segregated us in Chicago and elsewhere, are the same people that are gentrifying us. So let's think about this. If house appraisers and banks, based upon comps, comparable sales that take place, won't give you the full value to loan you the money or have the money, then you're always going to be at a disadvantage. So that requires that we have our own banking system. This is why the Muhammad Economic Blueprint is a must.
That's right.
And I'm an advocate of cryptocurrency.
Come on, brother.
For real. And you can take that crypto. Do you know that Bitcoin is now like $20,000, $30,000 for one of them coins? You could have got one of them joints for $25. You know how rich you'd be right now?
Yes, sir. And
the thing about Bitcoin and blockchain is it's peer-to-peer. There's no bank in between. So what we need is a cryptocurrency that is dedicated not just to wealth, but is dedicated to teaching and training our people in all of the blue collar and green collar trades to rebuild the wasted cities, to teach plumbing and carpentry and masonry and roofing and framing and electrical and all of those drywall and all of those 17 trades. What if we had a banking system that was dedicated to that and its value of the money came from gold and silver, but also the value brought by teaching and training human beings to rebuild these places that you're talking about? We got the crews. We could literally put together a crew and they could go into these cities and we could build them out, but we got to pay the people.
That's right.
Or at least be able to feed them. You know how much love went into Mosque Mariam the first and second time we renovated it?
Come on, brother.
Many of the Muslims sacrificed much.
That's
in our beautiful headquarters. We could do that all around the country, Sister Starla. But we just have to organize. Minister Farrakhan said truth is the principle of organization. We got to organize around the truth taught to us by the humble Elijah Muhammad. And then we got to organize. He said the difference between a tropical storm or a rainstorm, tropical depression, and a Cat 5 hurricane is its level of organization. I used to love to hear Kwame Ture say, "We must be organized."
Yes, sir.
We got to organize towards that goal, sis.
Sir.
We can
Yes,
do
sir.
it. We can do it. And the beautiful thing about it is that the believers, as we saw in our meeting, without going into too much business over these open airways, we seen that there are some believers that's already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
All we got to do now is organize, like Sister Wendy, Sister Sajda Muhammad is doing with a Black Muslim directory. Y'all should go and register your business for free. Even if you got just a side hustle, register your business or your profession for free. Mm-hmm. Or you can pay different gradients, but you should go to Black Muslim, I think it's blackmuslimdirectory.com, and list yourself there so we'll know all of the talents we said. If you heard, if I called out your business here, if you're a surveyor, if you're in real estate, if you're in finance, if you are a civil engineer, if you are an urban planner, if you are an architect, if you're any of those things I mentioned, a security expert, plumber, architect, construction person, go list yourself on that Black Muslim directory by Sister Sajda Muhammad, and let's go ahead and know what we got so we can communicate and pool our resources and do that. Pooling the resources, just as he said, pool your resources, he said, physically as well as financially. Yeah. We're not those kind of people where I'm going to give you the money and you do the work and I'm going to sit back like some daggone slave master on a plantation and watch you work in the field picking cotton. Come on. While I sit on the Gary drinking my mint julep. Go ahead. Listen to my niggers singing their nigger spirituals. Don't they sing fine there, Leroy? Yes, master, they sure do. Swing low, sweet Harriet, coming forth to get me the hell up out of here. No.
Go ahead, Brother Minister.
I'm sorry, brother. No, I just love me some Sister Starla. Sister Starla did that, man. She did that Busta Rhymes, her and Brother Dr. Wesley. That Busta Rhymes was like, y'all don't know nothing about Larry Graham. You do, Brother James. Larry Graham, when he said 1 million you, there's that lick, he said, there's that line, he says, and oh, what a revelation. Oh, that was like revelation. Listen to Busta Rhymes. Right. Talk about how he was inspired by the minister and how he was touched, man. That interview moved me, Sister Starla. I love you for that. That's why I blew you a kiss and touched my heart, sister. Y'all did a magnificent job, and you've been doing it for the final call with our editor and all of those who put together that magnificent newspaper.
That's right. Right. All praise is due to Allah. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Starla. Wonderful to hear from you. And we certainly want you back on the show. We will definitely, inshallah, be in touch. We have our dear sister, Melanie T. Muhammad. She poses this question relating to our youth. She asks, Student Minister Dr. Abdul Haleem Muhammad, with COVID-19 keeping people home, what can be done to reach the youth to encourage and guide them into taking up trades such as carpentry, electrical construction, and such?
Okay, what you have to do is, some of us going to have to go to college, but everybody's not made to go to college. And unfortunately, because we have this system as it is, we wind up having so much debt when we get out of school, we become slaves. But in Houston, the Houston area, we have community colleges where you can go learn these trades that you're talking about. And we have to show our children how a plumber can almost be making 6 figures. A plumber, air conditioner, HVAC. Yeah, he gonna get his hands dirty. Yeah, he gonna sweat. But after he take a shower and take off his overalls, he can get in his Mercedes Benz.
Teach, beloved.
So he can get paid. I don't care how many PhDs I got. I don't mess with electric. I call electrician. Messing with I'll do some plumbing, a little carpentry, some drywall. I'll paint. I'll do those things. But when it comes to electric, I don't mess with it. I will call my electrician. Plumbing, electrician, carpentry, all of these trades. Welding. People making 6 figures welding. See? So there's all kind of businesses. We had a brother was talking to us this morning out of Fort Worth. He taught all of his sons and daughters the business. He's in the car selling cars. He's in the repairing cars and all that. He put all his children in the business. We have brothers and sisters all around the nation. We just have to do what you're doing, Brother James, is expose each other. We don't know each other. That's the problem.
Teach.
I was in pain as you was reading my bio, but there's people out here watching me right now who got just as much talent in their particular area than everything I have.
Yes, sir.
And we want to know you. We need you now to step up and prepare a future for our people. This thing is unraveling. It's not going to get any better. Those who were shamed or, how can you put it, politically correct into not exposing their racism and their xenophobia are now just coming out the woodwork. The Proud Boys came through D.C., Chocolate City, man, and tore down the Black Lives Matter poster off a church and burnt it. You would have never done that back in the day. Chocolate City, you shot and cut up out of, man, come on, man. These people got bold. They're getting bold, bro. And we're going to have to follow the modern day Moses and Aaron.
Come on, brother.
Through the Red Sea of blood and revolution.
Yes.
To our promised land.
That's right.
Get ready, brothers and sisters.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
To be a free and independent people. Point I make, brother, Minister Farrakhan is a man that said to us in Detroit at dinner, he said, "Blessed is the pure of heart, for they shall see God." And he said, and I say, in everything. We got criticisms of former President Barack Obama, but the one criticism I don't have is the very vision of my grandchildren seeing a black man.
Teach, beloved.
Walking past an honor guard, getting a 21 gun salute, walking to a room and having Hail to the Chief being played for him, having the old cynical press stand up for him, having generals with all kind of battle ribbons and medals on salute him. My grandchildren and your grandchildren saw that.
That's right.
Man and his beautiful wife and family in the White House. They got a vision that cannot be erased, though the present administration tried to erase everything he did, but you can't erase what we saw. It's ingrained in our grandchildren. My grandchildren don't even recognize this fella that's in there now.
Come on, brother.
They still think Barack Obama's the president. And I don't have the heart to break. I'm not going to break their heart and tell them he's not. Because they got in their mind that black people can run stuff. Now, we know that he was the CEO of White Man's Store. We know all of that. Come on. But the image in the head of our children is, wait a minute, we can operate on the world stage with anybody.
That's right.
And that's why basketball players and football players are now starting to step up, man. LeBron James is off the chain, man. And so now the slaves are rebelling. Any of y'all see Gladiator?
Yes, go ahead, brother.
LeBron and them is rebelling, man. You got any more questions, Brother James? I'm sorry, I'm not just rambling, brother.
No. I'm actually scrolling the comments and questions right now, dear brother. And one brother asks, and I'm trying to find it. because I read it and lost it. But I want this is a question really I could address. Of course, you could address. But the only reason why I say that is because he's expressing his concern about 40 and 50-year-olds and where they fit in this revolution. And when I hear people talk about 40 and 50 as if it is old, I mean, I have a son that's over 50 years old, brother. So, I mean, shame on you.
Man, I'm in my prime, brother.
Come on.
I'm in my prime.
Yes, sir.
I have an 87-year-old leader that outworks all of us.
That's right. Look at the minister, brother.
As they say, I'm no ways tired. Where is it? You and I have been seasoned.
Teach, beloved. Teach.
What we have to do is what I have done in the Southwest region and in Mars 45 is I have a succession plan. If something would happen to me, how do you think I studied for my master's and PhD?
Come on, brother.
And we didn't miss a lick because I have good help.
Yes, sir.
In the jungle, the old lions kill the young ones because they want to be in charge of the pride, which is their herd. It's called the pride.
Right. That's right.
The old bulls fight the new bulls because they want to be the ones that in charge of the whole herd of the cows.
Teach, beloved.
We're human beings.
Come on, brother. Make it plain, man.
There are many words that are translated by the translators out of Arabic. They translate it as man, but there's one called al-insani, which is man is a social creature.
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself a talent scout for the Nation of Islam, brother.
That's right, brother. As do I.
Not intimidated.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Because you have talent and skill. Everybody is an individual miracle created by Allah with an attribute that they can display or exercise almost perfectly.
Yes, sir.
But there's degrees.
That's right.
You can almost, if you would apply yourself and be right, you could exercise that attribute to the nth degree if you submit to Allah, the supreme of all beings. So I'm not intimidated by anybody because I'm the best me I can be.
Teach, brother.
Nobody can be a better me than me.
Come on, brother.
Nobody can be a better you, a better James than James. Nobody.
Go ahead.
So if you're not intimidated by people who have talent, skill, good looks, they're handsome, they can sing, they can dance, they're smart, they can add, subtract, they're business people, they're this, that, and the other, they ain't got time to be envious.
That's right, brother.
Come help me help the minister.
That's right.
Get off the sidelines. There's no sideline in this battle.
That's right.
You either in the kitchen or you wind up on the menu, brother and sister.
Make it plain. You can say that again, brother. That's real.
You either in the kitchen fixing this meal for our people, or we're gonna wind up on the menu.
That's right.
Minister Farrakhan has raised up an army of Muhammad's. He gave us our Father's name.
Teach, beloved.
Now we can either bring shame to it, or we can live it to its fullest and be praiseworthy because we praise him who is worthy of praise.
That's right. That's right.
Live out your fullest, man. Don't let nobody smash your dream or your vision. You come to help the minister, come help him.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not going to blame laborers. Hell, I wish you're behind would you think you want to be what we do? You really want to sit in my seat? Go ahead. Come on.
Yes, sir.
This ain't no crown. This is a cross.
Go ahead, brother. Make it plain, man.
Minister Farrakhan, you got to pick up a cross, man. You're going to have to be crucified.
Yes, sir.
You're going to be persecuted, evil spoken of.
That's right.
Minister Farrakhan said to me, Brother James, and this goes for all of us. He said, brother, you could have been anything you wanted to be, but you came to help me. Yeah, I could have, but I'd be dead because I was smoking a pack of Newports a day. smoking an ounce of red bud sesamillion a week, and drinking me a quart of Kahlua, a fifth of Kahlua, because I like sweet drinks. I used to like sweet drinks. A quart of Kahlua every week, brother. I'd be dead if I'd have done anything. But I'm here to help him. I'm here to help him. This is my and your bid for immortality, y'all. So look, let me put it like this in these closing minutes, Brother James.
Yes, sir.
Let me just lay it on the line.
Teach, brother. Go
You
ahead.
and I, brother and sister, are either the most fortunate or the most foolish generation ever to be born. We are declaring before the world, and Minister Farrakhan went to Iran and told the people who were waiting for the Mahdi
Teach.
that he already came.
That's right.
To us.
That's right.
And we are declaring that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed got that hat on right now, given to him by the Supreme Being.
Come on, brother.
Leave the Messiah.
That's right.
The Messiah is the man that we follow, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is the Messiah. He is the anointed one.
That's right. That's right, brother.
He said, if I worship Minister Farrakhan, he would slap the taste out of my mouth.
That's
He
right.
won't play that.
That's
There's
right.
none worthy of worship but Allah.
That's right.
This is no personality cult.
That's right.
I'm free to be what I was born to be, and he rejoices in it because he don't have so much as a scintilla of envy of us. He is a star without equal.
Make that plain, brother. Yes,
but
sir.
he don't mind you having your place in the constellation of stars. He's just the one that has no equal.
That's right, brother.
Listen, brother, shine in the darkness. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Don't hide your light under a bushel basket. Let it shine. Mm-hmm. And don't let nobody, no hypocrite, no scared to death, foot shuffling, knee bending, head scratching, scared to death Negro,
come on.
no government agent, no imposter Jew or imposter Christian or imposter Muslim steal your joy. You and I were born and are living in the time of the Mahdi and the Messiah.
Right.
We're in the first 1,000 year of the millennium of the Mahdi and the Messiah, in that last 10,000 years of this 25,000 year cycle of history.
Come on, brother.
We are the material that God's going to build a whole nother world out of. This nothing people. He's going to make something. Our names will go down. Minister Farrakhan, the Honorable Elijah said, your name will be written in the history of 40 nations. Well, if we're standing beside him, so will ours, Brother James.
Yes, sir.
And so all of us.
Allah, that's right.
We will be called the us, our, and we.
That's right. All praise is due to Allah.
Don't, brothers and sisters, don't be discouraged. Don't be afraid. Get what 6-8, do what the messenger tell you. Get 6-8 Muslims, get together, pool your resources, and go and do something for self. He said do something for self. He didn't say do something by yourself.
That's right. Teach, man. Make that plain, bro.
No more lip service. No more complaining. No more blaming the laborers. No more blaming each other. No more blaming the white man. Man, let's go to war with the darkness that's around us like the God did in the beginning, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's crack that atom of ignorance that's in our head, man. Let's release the power that's within. Let's cultivate the God within by calling on the God without.
That's right. Teach, man.
And stop being afraid, man. Fear and guilt restrict.
That's right.
We all have fallen short of the glory of God, man. But that's why Minister Farrakhan is the Messiah, because of his forgiving spirit. I know some of y'all got some beef with him. Some is secretly holding in your heart. Man, stop pushing him around in your head because he allowed laborers and others to sign the Form 4 and forgave us after we put you out the mosque for the same damn thing that we were guilty of. He forgave us.
That's right. That's right.
So why don't you forgive yourself first? If you forgive yourself, because there's what was done to you by others.
Teach, man.
Yeah, okay. There was what you saw done to others that you did nothing about. And there's what you did to other people. All those things is rattling around in your head. You know what happened to you and what you seen happen and what you done. But you know what? The worst of all, but what will free you and me is what we've done to ourselves.
Yes.
If we will fix what we've done to ourselves, because the prayer says, I've been greatly unjust, not to you.
Teach to myself.
Greatly unjust to myself. And I confess my faults. So grant me protection against my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee. And guide me to the best of morals, for none guides to the best of morals but thee. And turn away from me the evil and indecent morals, for none turns away the evil and indecent morals but thee. So who you talking to? Don't look for no, I can't do nothing. I'm no priest. Don't confess to me. Go to Allah. But
Come
forgive
on, brother.
yourself. And when you forgive yourself, you'll release the kind of energy that will allow you to do magnificent things in a short amount of time. Come on, brothers and sisters. If you heard your quality, your classification, your discipline, your profession, your trade mentioned or not mentioned, go to blackmuslimdirectory.com, register your business, register your trade, register your hustle, whatever you're doing. And get with Brother Ridgely and order some of them staple goods, build our farm up, pool your resources, find farms that sell raw milk if they allow it in your state, pool your resources, get some land, and do something for self, brothers and sisters. And you can do housing and all that in the city and buy property in the city and rental property and all that. Do that, brothers and sisters. But build a community. Build a community so that we can live together and watch each other's back and watch each other's houses.
That's right.
And watch after each other's children. And when it comes to educating, America's educational system is falling apart based upon the COVID-19. And the blessing is we can teach our children.
That's right.
I could be holding a class as an urban planner and teach the whole nation. As an urban planner, I can make other urban planners.
That's right.
A chemist could make other chemists. Doctor could make other doctors. A plumber could be teaching plumbing. We could be teaching our children trades and whatnot over the internet. This contraption that Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the white man, he said to his ministers, if y'all won't obey me, the white man's made a contraption where my face and voice could be all over the world. I don't need you. Guess what?
Brother. That's right. That's right.
We don't need the white man.
Teach, beloved.
We create our own platforms. Once we got people who know how to do this, create our own platforms that we can't get kicked off of and communicate one with another.
That's right.
These great divine teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the example of the Messiah in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Brother James, I want to thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
To allow me to come on your program for these few hours. And I want to thank the believers who have tuned in and stayed in. I'm looking at the number. And I thank you for being on. I hope that you would visit the website, if you would show SiliconBayouHouston.com, and I hope that you would order some of our apparel from there.
Yes,
just like you have Silicon Valley, just like you have Silicon Hills in Austin, Houston is building an innovation corridor that will rival all of those places. And Houston is built on a series of many rivers called bayous. So we have coined the name Silicon Bayou, Houston, Texas, and we created gear. You would help us if you would sign up for our newsletter, so that we can and also our brand shop by giving us support. You would help us to begin the process of training people in blue collar trades, the traditional trades, green collar jobs, such as alternative fuels, upscale manufacturing, meaning that you create a product that has a dual purpose. Once you finish using it for that first purpose, you could use it for a second one. Solar paneling, all of those things. And then the advanced technologies, robotics, coding, all of these things. So visit that website, SiliconBayouHouston.com.
Yes, sir.
All of that, and support us in that, and sign up for our newsletter. Put your name down, sign up for our newsletter, and we will be in communication with you by sending out a monthly newsletter regarding technology and just different things that we are. We're also on Facebook, and we have a Instagram page and all of that. But you know, I wrote an article. Amazon, they were trying to get Amazon to come and put their headquarters down there. And they offered Amazon these incentives, Brother James, of nearly $400 million. Amazon turned them down. It was the time of Hurricane Harvey, and we didn't have mass transit. And they just said, man, we're not coming. We're not messing with Houston. It's education. It was the independent school district was in turmoil. They said, no, we're not coming there. Mm-hmm. So I wrote an article that said, man, forget Amazon HQ2. Houston should build a Silicon Bayou, build it on. So, and believe it or not, they put it in the Sunday Houston Chronicle.
Wow.
Your brother, Black Muslim, student minister, Abdul Haleem Muhammad, they put in the Sunday Houston Chronicle on the op-ed page. Mm-hmm. And that's my second one. I wrote another one. That's my second one. But they put it on there, and I thought that was pretty amazing for them to do that. But it made perfect sense.
That's a lot, brother. That's a lot working on your behalf, brother. Yes, sir.
Brother. You know what's funny about it is that I said to them, man, if you was gonna get them all that, why don't you give it to yourself? You dumb. So anyway, they got it. Now they building it. And black people need to organize lest they get wiped out, brother.
That's right.
Someday, inshallah, I'll come back and we'll talk about gentrification. We'll talk about some things. I'll go a little deeper in some other stuff. But we're going to have to pull together a roundtable on your program, Brother James, if you would. I'll just plant this seed so that we can have these discussions.
Yeah, well, let's organize that.
Urbanism.
Yes, sir. Let's organize that. Definitely.
And rebuilding and actually putting together construction crews so we can rebuild these wasted cities.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. I'm all for it, dear brother. This is a platform for just that kind of thought sharing and expression, but activity as well. We want to inspire activity on behalf of the resurrection of our people, the redemption, the salvation of our people, in our effort to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with this mighty mission on his shoulders. We thank Allah for him. We thank Allah for you, dear brother. And I'd like to make an appeal every week. We make this appeal first and foremost. We ask those who are viewing and listening that if they believe that what they heard from you, from previous guests, from anybody that speaks through this medium, we ask you, if you believe it is the truth and good for you and good for your people, then you go to www.noi.org//join. Make your declaration that you want to become a registered Muslim and helper and follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Don't delay. You go right now. But before you go, we have a couple more announcements that I want to get in. Certainly, I want to encourage all of us to go to that website that was scrolling across the screen, where we can help our brother, support our brother, student minister Abdul Haleem Muhammad, and help him build so that he can help the minister and help you as a people get free. So thank you again, Brother Minister. Let's have that address one more time, Brother Michael. There it is. Visit Student Minister Dr. Abdul Haleem Muhammad. Silicon Bayou Houston.com.
All praises
Bless
due
your
to Allah.
gospel.
Thank you, Brother James. May
Thank
Allah
you.
bless you. May He grant you
Thank
every good desire. Continue
you
to
as
strive to be a good Muslim, a good believer, a good helper, and
Yes, sir.
continue to be my brother and my friend, man. I got big love for you. You already know how we roll, man.
Know that, brother. Yes, sir.
And tune in tomorrow, brothers and sisters, to Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad, Natural
Absolutely.
Assistant to the
They
Honorable
announced.
Louis Farrakhan,
Yes.
NOI.org. That's 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure that you tune in, brothers and sisters, and hear the life-giving teaching of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as articulated and exemplified by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, his faithful minister.
That's right. And the title of his message is America's Wicked Plan, Part 3. So we're on Part 3. Know your enemy. Know your and my and our enemy. So we all make sure that we tune in tomorrow. I want to make a special appeal to all of our viewing and listening audience, our supporters, that you continue, of course, to support. But I want to put a little emphasis on the need to support at this time this show, if in fact it is beneficial to you, if in fact you've enjoyed it, you've been edified by it and inspired by it, then we want you to go to Brother Michael, if you can scroll those addresses, both on PayPal and there it is. Donate to Closing the Gap broadcast via PayPal at jkingdom1@aol.com or Cash App at $CTG broadcast. Once again, that's jkingdom1@aol.com and on Cash App $CTG broadcast. We have also the dots, connect the dots. When again is that airing, brother?
Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you can't catch the show, you can go on www.kpft.org/archive. And you can just go down to Wednesday, connect the dots, and you can listen to my show at your leisure.
All praise is due to Allah. And for your Christmas holiday, we have very special gifts for you. Inshallah, we're going to be blessed. Inshallah, I've been talking with our brother, he's my brother and friend. We're going to invite Brother Student Minister Demetric Muhammad. Once again, you all know him well through this show and, of course, many other platforms from which he has expressed the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the message of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. His subject is going to be the wicked use of science and chemistry to stop Black liberation. We also, as another Christmas gift for you, this will be after Christmas, inshallah, we've been in touch with our dear sister and national spokesperson of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Sister Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad. Inshallah, we will present and broadcast a pre-recorded message on Saturday. That's the day after Christmas. So you'll have to wait a little, one day to get that particular Christmas present. We want to present that under the title and theme, Is Satan Transforming into an Angel of Light? Vaccines and Depopulation. Once again, is Satan transforming into an angel of light? Vaccines and depopulation. Don't be fooled, brothers and sisters. The Bible says that's exactly what he will do. He will transform himself in the eyes of the deceived ones into an angel of light. You'll think he's a savior, but in reality, he's a destroyer. Don't take that. Let me hold on. We don't want your vaccine? No. All praises due to Allah. And so thank you again, brother student minister Abdul Haleem Muhammad. I love you, brother. I enjoy so much.
I love you, Brother James. Thank you. And it's not hard for men to express love for one another.
That's right.
And that's what we should do. Give flowers while we live, brother.
That's right.
You always been my main man. We've always had some big chuckles. You know, I'm always messing with
That's right, brother. And we gotta laugh. This is some difficult work, man. We gotta find some.
Well, if you take yourself too seriously,
that's right.
And you be all messed up, especially when you stumble and fall, man. So,
that's right.
Brothers and sisters, continue to pray for one another. Pray for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his family. Pray for the Executive Council that Allah will bless them and guide them in all that they do. Pray for our Supreme Captain and his family.
That's right.
Pray for all of the believers. Pray for your laborers. Pray for the student laborers in your city and your region. Pray for one another, brothers and sisters. And follow the protocols of COVID-19. The funny thing about it, Brother James, is if you take the vaccine, you can still get COVID-19.
Absolutely.
If you take the vaccine, you know what, and it damages you, you can't sue anybody.
That's right. You can't sue.
You know? And if you take the vaccine, you still got to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
The question gonna be asked, why am I taking the vaccine? It's because they told me to.
Mm-hmm.
And remember what the devil will say. When the matter is decided,
that's right. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
I promise you, God promised you the truth, and I promise you it failed you.
That's right.
Blame me not. Huh?
Blame
yourself. I had no authority over you, except if I called, then you obeyed.
You came. That's right. You obeyed.
May Allah bless you, brothers and sisters, and keep on keeping on, and take care of yourself. Wear your mask. Wash your hands, clean, disinfect, and sanitize areas you touch often.
That's right.
And make sure, brothers and sisters, that you eat well, nutrition, get good nutrition, get some exercise, get out in the sun as much as you can. I know the weather is becoming inclement in some parts of the country, but get as much sun as you can and vitamins from the sun, and get some exercise so you don't go stir crazy from being sheltering in place. Remain prayerful, study, read, catch up on some things that you haven't done. And all you brothers, that honey-do list, turn it into a honey-done list. That's what working me like a Hebrew slave, brother. I done things.
And my wife is listening to you, brother.
Well, thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Brother James, and thank all who listened in and tuned in. May Allah bless you as I greet you in peace.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. And now we're going to close. Brother Michael, take us to our closing announcements. Thank you. I love these. I love the way we close, brother. Of course,
There is a need in our community for a universal change. And it has to start with the man. Being a man of God means being a man possessed of the knowledge, the spirit, and the power of God, anointed to do His will. To build a people, you first must make every
what is race.